Today in national news, White House officials defended President Trump's controversial proposal to send detained migrants to so-called sanctuary cities. Those are often democratically controlled towns of cities that refuse to fully cooperate with federal immigration enforcement. Errol Barnett is at the White House with more.
If Democrats would step up and help the president fix the laws, this all could go away.
Press Secretary Sarah Sanders today reinforced the administration's plan to send detained migrants to sanctuary cities, many of them run by Democrats.
They support open borders, they support sanctuary cities, so let's spread out some of that burden and let's put it in some of those other locations if that's what they want to see happen and are refusing to actually help fix the problem.
Whether it's catch and release or chain migration or any of them, the asylum laws are absolutely insane.
On Friday, the president once again vented frustration about the nation's immigration and asylum laws, while insisting Saturday he has the absolute legal right to implement his transfer plan. Opponents of the president's plan call it expensive, dehumanizing, and illegal.
This is, again, his manufactured chaos.
The president has no right to spend money appropriated by Congress for other purposes.
Jerry Nadler, who chairs the House Judiciary Committee, said today he's interested to hear more from the president's senior advisor, Stephen Miller.
We heard several weeks ago from whistleblowers that Steve Miller came up with this, and probably Steve Miller, who seems to be the boss of everybody on immigration, ought to come before Congress and explain some of these policies.
Now, the White House is also pushing back against reports President Trump offered a pardon to his new acting secretary of the Department of Homeland Security if he broke immigration law. Press Secretary Sarah Sanders dismissing that notion Sunday, saying President Trump is about law and order. Errol Barnett, CBS News, the White House.
Well, back here in Montana, tourism and recreation, the topic of conversation this week for the Governor's Conference starting tonight at the Copper King Hotel in Butte, with the main focus being on tourism and recreation. The goal is to talk about and compare the state's numbers regionally and nationally. The conference hopes to spark creative thinking and come up with solutions to bring more money into the state through tourism.
Our whole goal when you're in tourism in the state is to either keep someone in your community one more hour, one more meal, one more night. And if you can't keep them there, you want to keep them in the state of Montana. That's our whole goal.
And again, that will go through Tuesday. Joining me now is Rob Griggs to talk a little bit about this weather we've been having.
Yes, we had a bit of a rainy start to the day here on Sunday, and then it started to clear off a little bit. So let's take a look at what's going on out there right now. High temperatures today, a little cooler than they were yesterday, and maybe just a little cooler than average for this time of year, but not too far off the mark. We still hit 64 in Worland and 56 over in Lewistown, 63 in Jordan. Billings topped out at 54 degrees. You can see with the current satellite radar that a lot of the showers in eastern Montana have started to move out, although we do have some more building to the south and to the east of Billings. Also some snow showers in the higher elevations of western and southwestern Montana and northern Wyoming. Current winds also dying down considerably. It was really blowing up to 45 miles an hour from the High Line all the way down into the gap areas of Livingston and Nye. So here's the weather headlines as we head into the work week. Mostly dry tomorrow, then some showers for Tuesday. But you know what? We could see 70 degrees or more for Good Friday. We'll talk about the complete work week forecast in just a little bit. Zoe?
All right, thanks, Rob. Well, if you've been to Rimrock Mall recently, you may have noticed a unique display in front of the Bath Body Store. That's because the Brain Injury Alliance of Montana and Rimrock Mall's Live 360 is trying to bring awareness about the effects of brain injuries. This is a traveling exhibit of personal stories from those who have either suffered the effects of brain injuries or are closely related to someone that has each mask. It has an artistic representation of someone's individual story and the impact on their life. The Brain Injury Alliance of Montana is a statewide nonprofit organization whose goal is to create a better future for those impacted by brain injury through awareness, support, community engagement, and prevention. 2019 marks the 30th anniversary of the Velvet Revolution and the end of communism in Czechoslovakia, which is now the Czech Republic and Slovakia. A Slovakian cello player came to Billings at the beginning of the month to perform and talk about freedom. Q2's David J. talked with Josef
I
I do believe that music is this kind of powerful tool for our emotions and express our needs and sorrows.
Josef Luptek performed in Billings earlier this month. He lives in Slovakia, which at one time was part of Czechoslovakia under a communist regime.
The freedom of religious and speech, that was one of the first things we were longing for. The whole fall of communism was for us like a dream. So I was born in 1969. My father was active in a Protestant church. He spent in jail for his faith 1 year.
Luptek started playing the cello at the age of 5.
Two things really big window to the kind of freedom. One was the personal faith and kind of community we were living in. And the other one was for me, was music.
In his concert in Billings, he performed with his mentor from the Royal Academy of Music in London, Robert Cohen.
He's also a very close friend, and he is really one of the top cellists in the world. So it's a very special moment always that we can communicate together through music, and we can bring it to other people as well. Freedom is one of the biggest value we have. So I'm so thankful for that, and I wouldn't change it for a minute really to go back to totality.
David J., MTN News, Billings.
Thank you, David. Master Lube owner Bill Simmons has put together a series of talks about the 1989 fall of communism in Czechoslovakia, and Josef Luptek will return to Billings in the fall for more on the anniversary. The Alberta Bear Theatre in Billings held a reminiscing reception tonight following the final show on the theater's current stage as we know it. The Billings Community Band and the Sweetgrass County High School Band took the stage as the final act before the Alberta Bears' $12 million renovation. The final song on the program, America the Beautiful, a fitting choice as that was the last song played on the theater's stage before the renovation from the Fox Theater back in 1987. Current and past Alberta Bear Theatre board members shared memories and plans for the new building.
This is going to be a new theater inside and out. It's a renovation, but I think most people will be amazed that it's going to be a completely new theater experience.
Oh, I can't wait for that. Well, stay tuned. More to come tonight for our 10 o'clock news. After the break, find out how the snow and cold from our winter stint could be good for Montana's agriculture. And later in sports, a Sunday conversation with a local legend. Hear Johnny Football's reaction to this past year's epic Cat Grizz game.
You're watching MTN News with Zoe Zandora, Storm Tracker weather with Rob Griggs, and sports with Casey Conlon. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.